painting a much different picture of 16-year-old Dante Harris than we've heard from prosecutors, saying he panicked when he came face-to-face with an armed officer. If there is heavy rain combined with any kind of blockage, even in one section of drain, Main Street could be in trouble all over again. Just to give you an idea of the size of this service and the sheer impact this young officer had on her community. And Rick, at this point, some of those locals can't even get to their shops and homes on Main Street. Police have shut it down, effectively a disaster zone. Firefighters have been here for nearly 3 hours dealing with heavy smoke and flames, which have absolutely gutted this home here behind us. A judge ordered yesterday that none of those teenagers have any contact with accused cop killer, 16-year-old Dante Harris. We're coming back to the staging area where folks have been shuttling to and from their homes and businesses. And Mary, both of those survivors listed in critical condition tonight. The latest update from shock trauma coming just after 4. The city warned that a clear out was coming, citing safety concerns for the encampment, things like poor sanitation and the risk of hypothermia. People who came to the U.S. as children of undocumented immigrants will effectively lose the protections they have. There are certainly more questions than answers tonight as police work to identify the teenager shown carrying what appears to be a gun on school property. Tomorrow, those who live and work on Main Street will get a first look at the damage and the chance to grab a few things. But for now, tonight, it stays shut down. Officers behind the barricades here working to make sure there are no victims beneath the debris and still searching for one man. Drying out in the dark and under police guard, now a disaster zone. The charm of Ellicott City's Main Street drowned under dangerous debris-filled waves less than 48 hours ago. 8 inches of rain funneled into raging waters Sunday, powerful enough to crumble pavement, tear down walls, stack cars, and sweep away this man, 39-year-old Edison Herman, who vanished while trying to protect others.
Continuing to search for the individual.
Search and rescue. Well, on Main Street, the mission is recovery, and it's only just beginning.
You shouldn't have to go through this once in your lifetime, but twice in 2 years is something which is just, it breaks our hearts.
For some small business owners, the breaking point. Ed Kroll again watched his livelihood float away, destructive deja vu and a repeat of the flooding in 2016.
There's nothing you can do about it, so I just watched the water taking stuff out.
Now, with damage assessment and cleanup only beginning, piles of debris, soggy and static, and crews towing away cars stuck in park in fields of mud. The question for many is what now?
I've had 4 floods, a fire, and a roof collapse, so I've just about had it for as far as Ellicott City is concerned.
And a lot of people asking tonight if this could have been prevented after the 2016 flooding, but county leaders say their focus now is on addressing the damage and helping those directly affected. And Mary, tonight at a vigil, they thanked hundreds of people for their prayers, but say now they need more than that. They need folks to speak up and point police to the little girl's killer. The sky above southwest Baltimore speckled with purple balloons Friday night. On the sidewalks below, a community mourning a violent crime that shocked even the most violent city in America.
I lost my baby, you know.
Surrounded by hundreds of friends, neighbors, and strangers, the mother of 7-year-old Taylor Hayes spoke through tears. Her firstborn, a recent first-grade graduate, died Thursday. 2 weeks after a bullet pierced the window of a car she was riding in on Lyndhurst Street and hit Taylor in the back.
She was so happy when she graduated, like smiling from ear to ear.
Taylor's cousin says the stray bullet from a gun battle robbed the little girl of so many more graduations, and her family now desperately wants to know who pulled the trigger. Friday, police made a big break in the case.
We have found the white Mercedes that we were looking for, and we're thankful to the public for assisting us with that.
That car, they believe, carried the killer or killers. Still wanted. And as investigators work to hunt them down, they and Taylor's family are pointing to the community to speak up.
Everybody say they praying for us. Everybody say they here for Taylor. Everybody want something to be done. Tell. Step up and tell what happened to Taylor.
And police have arrested these 2 people who were in the car with Taylor at the time of the shooting, but on unrelated charges. They say if you have any more information on her murder, they would like to hear from you right away. Tonight, we've heard from some of the Capital Gazette journalists over Twitter. One of them tweeting that this is a relatively small newsroom, about 20 people who work inside, and in covering this community, they become familiar, in some cases friendly, with city leaders here. So tonight, those same city leaders and police telling us they knew the victims, they knew the survivors, now the very same people at the center of this investigation.
Several shots have been fired, possible shotgun. At least 10 shots heard.
An active shooter inside the Capital Gazette office where Annapolis Mayor Gavin Buckley says the journalists at work Thursday afternoon became open targets.
And there's nowhere to hide.
Even in just the 60 seconds it took police to get through the glass doors, a calculated and accused killer took 5 lives.
They described to me how they stepped over bodies to go towards the scene and found him under a desk.
Shotgun tossed to the side as he heard the approaching footsteps of law enforcement. Officers who ran into danger not knowing what they would find.
No one knew if the guy had a shotgun or a machine gun or a grenade or anything like that. They didn't even think about that.
Backup followed to get the other 170 people in the building out.
When we came down the elevator, as soon as the doors opened, the cops swarmed the elevator.
Scary. I mean, you open up the door and there's guys with guns pointing at you.
Confusion, chaos, and so many questions as police and city leaders dig into the attack on their colleagues turned friends and now the victims of this investigation.
We speak with these men and women on a daily basis to get stories out that are important to the citizens of this county. So we're here, we're invested, we're going to get this investigation right.
And for that reason, police have given us information well into tonight, coming in sort of spurts, releasing whatever details they can, and also indicating at some points that this is personal. They tell us this is a paper they work with to get vital information out into the community. And as you heard the Deputy Chief of Police say, for that reason and many others, they are going to get this investigation right. Harris's attorneys say he wasn't trying to kill the officer, but rather get out of her line of fire. And they say the body camera footage will back that up. But that's the same video that prosecutors call telling for their case, and they've asked police not to release it. A scared teenager or a one-man crime wave? Prosecutors and a judge say one thing.
It's hard. It's hard.
A devastated mother says another.
A person has lost their life, like my son will probably never get the chance to prove that he is not this person that is being painted.
Her son, 16-year-old Dante Harris, is in Baltimore County Detention Center accused of running down police officer Amy Caprio, while 3 other teenagers burglarized a home in a Perry Hall neighborhood. In alleged crime, his lawyers say Harris knew nothing about as he sat outside the home in a black Jeep Wrangler. Prosecutors say a stolen SUV that would become a weapon. In court documents, Harris told investigators he drove at Officer Caprio as she yelled at him to get out of the car with her gun drawn.
He's a kid that panicked when a gun was put in his face.
Defense attorney Warren Brown says his client wasn't trying to kill, but flee in fear.
They make it sound like he drove at her. But by the same token, you can't have it both ways because they also admit that he told them his head was buried down in the seat.
He says the body camera footage from Officer Caprio's uniform could make their case, calling on the state to release the video. Prosecutors have called it telling for their case. Otherwise, Thursday staying tight-lipped on that key piece of evidence. Do you have any comment on that?
I don't have any comment.
And the oldest of the 4 teenagers was up for bail review today. A judge ordered no bond for him. And also, as a side note, Baltimore County Police confirming today that Officer Caprio's handcuffs were used in the arrests of all 4 suspects. He works here across the street from the University of Maryland Medical Center Midtown campus. He says he just happened to leave his office here last night when he saw workers wheeling a patient out of the hospital and leaving her at a bus stop. In the moments that came next, he recorded on cell phone video.
You okay? Are you unable to speak? Are you okay, ma'am? Do you need me to call the police?
These are the moments psychotherapist Imamu Baraka says he can't erase from his memory, and he won't erase from his cell phone.
So y'all just gonna leave this lady out here with no clothes on?
He recorded Tuesday night as University of Maryland Medical Center workers wheeled a patient out of the hospital and to a bus stop, leaving her in the near freezing cold wearing only a hospital gown and socks.
This woman was placed in the city of Baltimore in the dead of night, in the cold, vulnerable, exposed.
Literally exposed.
Literally.
Throughout the video, the woman doesn't speak.
Sure. I'm like, come on, let's go over here, let's sit down. And then she begins to stumble. So I'm like, okay, this is going to get bad really fast. Go ahead and sit down.
The hospital released a statement Wednesday night saying it is just as shocked and disappointed as the thousands and thousands of viewers who have already watched the video online. In the end, they write, we clearly failed to fulfill our mission with this patient. The case is now under investigation, the hospital says, with the possibility of personnel action. But for Baraka, there are other unanswered questions.
Where's the humanity in all of this?
And he tells WJZ he called 911. He watched paramedics come and take the woman back inside the hospital. He says he does not know what happened next. Reporting live tonight, I'm Kimberly Eiten for WJZ.